Hi Rosie, thanks for sending me over your log. So yeah, let's go through it. Your breakfast to start with, decent breakfast there. What I would say is that it's a low calorie breakfast and a slightly lower protein breakfast. So one simple thing I would say to you would be to up the egg whites. So maybe have an extra one or two egg whites with this, or you could even get from like bulk powders or My Protein or any supplement place really, just a carton of egg whites, so it's already been done for you. Makes it a little bit easier. I think it ends up being cheaper as well if you do that. So up in the egg white, and then I noticed here that you're cooking it in olive oil. So that extra 50 calories, if you've got an olive oil spray, so not necessarily the spray light ones. I think me and Sophia talked about this before. They kind of, I don't know, they're very watery, and it's, I don't know, they don't really cook that nice. But using just an olive oil in a spray bottle, you can just give yourself 5 sprays, and that'll end up being something like 10-15 calories. So it's a little bit of calories that you'll save there, but you're going to use that in extra egg whites to bump up your protein amount. But other than that, yep, good. And then your meal during the day, the veg that you're having there, so you're having kind of leafy veg with tomatoes. What I say is you want to, especially if you feel hungry at times, and going further into this you will feel more and more hungry, is to build up the amount of kind of fibrous and more voluminous vegetables. So leaves are like spinach leaves, kale, that kind of thing, great, but again, doesn't really fill you up. So I'd want to see more like what you've done in your evening meal. If we look down here, so you've ended up having carrots and broccoli with your lentils and salmon, which is awesome. So that's going to fill you up a lot more, and obviously very, very minimal calorie intake for that, and all the nutrition that comes along with it and fiber. So packing out your lunches as well with larger carbohydrate sources would be a good idea. And yeah, very nice amount of protein here. The lentils are obviously a good one, plus the salmon portion looks to be a decent one. I think you said today was the first day that you hit 100 grams protein, but oh, your goals there, sorry, right, I misread that. Yeah, so you're just a little bit shy under. Like I said to Mike before, just having a little bit bigger salmon cut. If you're making this real nice salmon meal, why have to worry about adding protein elsewhere when all you need to do is potentially buy bigger salmon portions, or have a salmon and a half, or whatever it might be. So very easy way just to up your protein, just to double up on the current stuff you're eating. But yeah, all good for that day. Hit your calorie target. Protein's decent, but there's a couple of ways you can make that even more without going over too much on your calories. And very similar to what you had today. Obviously lots of you've got prawns in there, so there's a lot of fish in your diet, which is great. You've got your mushrooms, which again, it's a bigger, more fibrous, filling vegetable, which is nice to see in there. Your your Lemsip sachet, it's making me laugh because I've still got a bit of a cold. I've been hitting the Lemsips as well. But yeah, all good. And then really, it's very similar stuff we're going through here. I'll just say, things like this breakfast on your Thursday morning, I imagine it wasn't very filling, very, very tasty, but not very filling potentially. And it seems like you've grabbed something on the go. But you've made a pretty decent choice there. On the banana muffin, I kind of query that you had a banana muffin, it was only 60 calories. Are you sure that you've added that incorrectly? Because that would be the world's smallest banana muffin, but I don't know, maybe it is. Just be careful on that. And that's a note for anyone else watching it. Really do be careful of these serving sizes, because they trick you and they purposely put a serving size, like maybe not a muffin, but if you buy a muffin and it says serving size 60 calories, and then you actually read it and it says that is if you share that muffin between 4 people, it's like, fuck off. Who is going to be sharing their muffin? You eat a whole muffin. but they trick you into thinking it's lower calories. So just, double check that. But yeah. Anyway, coming to the weekend. So this is the big one that I think is potentially most people's downfall, where pretty decent Monday to Thursday, and then Friday you can see you started logging, and as the day went on you stopped logging, didn't log Saturday, obviously you told me about that, and then the Sunday, quite a fair bit over the calorie. So let's argue, you've been in the calorie deficit from Monday to Thursday, and then Friday, well, let's take a look, you went over by 600 calories on Sunday, so we can only assume that you went over 600 calories on Saturday and Friday as well. So I've put you guys initially in quite a small calorie deficit, because I think that really is the best way to do it most of the time. But because of that, going over 600 calories 3 days in a row, you would have probably brought yourself out of a calorie deficit and back into maintenance. So your weight not shifting over like a 2-week period. Obviously from week to week, the weight can be a bit confusing, but bi-weekly, no, realistically, we should be seeing the trend going down, regardless of kind of water weight and having the odd bad day here and there. So what it means for a lot of people is that you are working really hard, you're making new habits, you're picking better meals, but then the weekend it's not a fuck it attitude, but just more of a I've been good all week, so I'm gonna let myself go over the weekend, and it does. The weekend ends up being Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so you can see how that would happen. So, what we need to do at this point is say, look, we either need to tidy up the weekends, or put a cap on the calories at the weekend, even if you are going to overeat. But then we have a lower calorie target during the week, and that's when we want to start talking about hunger. So quite a few of you guys have talked about hunger and potentially reducing your calorie amount. So if we've gone 2 weeks and we haven't really seen a shift in weight, and your hunger levels are fine, you don't feel that hungry, then yeah, we need to drop your calories. So dropping it by 2 to maybe even up to 400 calories, depending how big you are and what your initial target was, could be the thing to do here, because you should feel hungry. There should be we want to be having that conversation, like I did earlier, about higher volume vegetables, and that filling you up and filling your stomach up, because you are pretty hungry, because you're in a calorie deficit. So it's finding that fine balance. You shouldn't be starving, because it's going to end up you binging. It's not very healthy to go super low calorie, but at the same time, it needs to be low enough that you are in a deficit. You're seeing that scale weight come down, the fit of your clothes come down, and the hunger levels will just naturally go up. So then we kind of pivot our focus onto high volume filling foods, and removing things like the banana muffin as an example. Or if we are going to have a banana muffin, really fit it in well, and make sure it doesn't put us over, because it's not going to be filling. Yeah, you make those choices of things that aren't going to be filling, but they're fucking tasty, so it's worth it sometimes, But anyway, yeah, so just to summarize, Rosie, some great stuff in there, plenty of veg, just making sure that you're having some of the more higher fiber veg, the higher volume vegetables at times. When you do have protein sources such as your salmon and the egg whites, just having more of that is going to be key for you to hitting your protein target, because you're not that far off. And I wouldn't bother making extra effort to cook a whole new meal or something to try and get protein in. Well, I would say one of the days you had a shake, right? I'm pretty sure. Am I making that up? I think you had a shake in there somewhere. So, having an extra protein shake is super, super easy to get in, and almost treating it like a meal replacement. So that is an easy one, because you don't have to cook anything more or think about, there's an amount of decision fatigue, right, that you go through having to think about all this stuff. So a protein shake will be an easy win, especially if you're hungry. That can really knock that craving down, or any feelings of hunger, right? Anyway, I'll stop waffling on. Hopefully that's helpful.